That's products. So we don't want to go there. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how it should be done. How you ought to do it yourself, or how do you hire somebody competent to do so. So David, Kirk, come on up. Do you have your Ask First forms already?
Yes, they should be.
Already passed out? We have one. This is the first time that we're kind of going to go through this in detail. Let me see yours. And the reason for that is so you can understand kind of the animals in the zoo. And there's lots of them. So let's go through it. Let's see, David, your education is? Do you say, are you close to a bachelor's degree?
I have 5 years of college, never got the degree.
Oh my God, well.
I'm still going, I'm still going.
Okay, but you have a CFP credential, what does that mean?
Certified Financial Planner, it required me 3 years of college education. I had to pass 5 exams, and then I had to sit. Once I passed those exams, I had to sit for a comprehensive exam for a day and a half. It's very difficult, and 50% of the people today, and everybody wants to be a CFP, fail that test the first time, and they come back, and some of them eventually pass. It's very difficult. It is one of the premier letters that you want to see if you're doing financial planning. And we're here to talk about financial planning 1 and 2, so it's really important.
Is in the CFP, is there a number of years experience required?
Once you pass all those exams, then you have to actually have 3 years of work experience in the field.
So you have to have 3 years of work.
And that continuing education of 30 hours per year to maintain that.
Okay. How many designations do you think there are in the financial services industry? How many? It's a question, really.
30.
About 200. Okay? You probably, sitting through the 8 weeks here, you're probably at the 80% of all designations in the financial services that you've put in more work than what's most designations out there that you can purchase. If you're in the financial services industry, what do you want people to believe? They're qualified. Designations somehow gives the inference that somebody's qualified. So you have titles like the Certified Senior Advisor. It's probably less than a day course, costs you around $3,000, and you can put that after your name.
CSA?
CSA.
Confederate States of America.
There's a registered financial planner. There are, just literally, they have it on the FINRA website, warning people that most of the designations in the financial services industry have no meaning. The CFP, by the way, at one time was in the same boat. You could get a CFP designation from the College for Financial Planning in Denver, open book test, in the mail course, and you got your CFP designation. Today, it's completely different. There's actually, was the exam easy?
No. Very difficult.
Yeah.
I have to say, I failed it the first time around, had to wait 6 months to take it again, pay another $1,000 fee, and I'm telling you, I had never worked, and I've been in the financial services industry for 18 years at that time. So
How long is the exam?
It's a day and a half.
Day and a half.
2 morning segments and an afternoon segment. And I'm telling you that they've got the most advanced testing to be able to, if you get somebody that's a a mind, that can remember things perfectly, they won't be able to pass the test.
Can you just take it, or do you have to have a certain amount?
You have to be able to sit for it, and you have to pass a certain
You have to have a credential from UCI,
yeah,
8
there's
courses?
a couple ways of doing it. Either you have to pass 5 sections, and you have to do it with an accredited college or
It's gone completely legitimate. This is literally for a financial planner. You should be looking at least for a CFP.
Is that in California?
Nationally.
It's national.
Yeah, it's almost international now. They have Canada and Australia, etc.
But the exams are given all over?
Yes, all over. So the CFP has some meaning. Yes.
What was the website you mentioned that you could check the meaning of these?
You can do
yeah.
FINRA and then put broker check. You could also do SEC, Securities and Exchange, SEC, and do broker check. Okay? For anyone who's a registered investment advisor, FINRA will have it on their website, and you can check them out. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but I'm going to go slow just because I think it's important to be able to recognize someone who is legitimate. Does it matter if you're a CFP, can you be in the business of selling product?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? So that doesn't prevent somebody from getting a CFP and saying, hey, they can't sell product.
Can you be a member of NAPFA and sell product?
No.
No. There's
a big difference.
Okay.
NAPA is the highest order.
What does NAPFA stand for?
National Association of Professional Financial Advisors.
NAP?
FA.
FA. National Association of Personal Financial Advisors?
Yes.
Okay. And you can get that on the internet as well.
Google it and you'll see. I'm a NAPA member. Our firm is, and instead of having the 30, you have to be a CFP, and you have to have 30 units of continuing education for the CFP. For NAPA, you have to have 60 per year, 60 hours.
And that's per year?
Per year. And we're only fee only. No licenses whatsoever.
Kirk,
Can't sell it.
your college background says college. Are you just like David?
With the exception that I'm not a CFP yet.
Okay. So you're still in the CFP program.
Yes, I'm pursuing my CFP and my bachelor's, and that's why I'm with David's firm.
Okay. And you say you have 7 years experience. What were you doing for the past 7 years?
I've been Don Juan, actually.
The truth comes out.
I actually spent the first 6 years of my professional career as in the financial services industry with sales organizations, and they were mostly insurance-based. So I started out with American Express Financial Advisors before they actually spun off and became Ameriprise. And then I was with a small firm in Irvine called Trilogy Financial Services. Both were sales-oriented because at the time I didn't know how to get into the industry on a fee-only basis and still be able to eat. So that was a tough part.
And that's the hard thing. Remember when we talked about the vacuum cleaners and we said there's a table over here, if you could pay 10 or 20 bucks, that'll give you the advice, the objective advice as to which vacuum cleaner you should buy. And we asked the question, how many individuals would go over here to this table and pay the 10 to 20 bucks to learn about the vacuum cleaners? And basically nobody would pay. And that's kind of what he's talking about. He says to be in the fee-only business is you're going to starve. It takes you 3 to 10 years to build up a book of business where people will trust you enough to think that you will provide value to them. Because everybody else in the industry, you can go to Don Juan and get anything you want. And don't, quote unquote, have to pay for it. David, what did you do before you became a fee-only financial
I was a
advisor?
stockbroker. I started right here in Laguna Beach in 1971.
And so when you got tired of ripping people off, what did you do?
I went into a depression. Not far from the truth.
Is the culture different between a fee-only advisor and a stockbroker?
Yes, in 1971 you didn't have such things as registered investment advisors like you have today, and you had to work for a brokerage firm. And yes, the culture is totally different. It's sales oriented, and in the back rooms you do high fives for, you know, and the most important thing is to be the biggest salesman in the office. You get all the best offices, you get everything. And as a consumer, that's probably the last person you want to go to because they're the best salesman. And you may not, you know, it's just, the culture is sales oriented.
Yeah. I went in and I was with a Smith Barney broker, and the gal had rheumatoid arthritis, and she couldn't work for about 6 months. And so I just met her before she couldn't work, and she was in a beautiful corner office in Laguna Hills, in Smith Barney office there. And when I came back 6 months later, she was in a tiny little room in the back, and all of her boxes were stacked on the floors and everything else. And I asked her, what happened? And she says, I've been home ill. I've tried to recover from my knee surgery, and if you're not producing, you don't get that corner office. It's all about production, okay? About selling these products. If you don't sell, you're gone. And it's just literally that way. Okay, let's go to relevant licenses. Oh, by the way, how long have you been a fee-only advisor?
6 years.
6 years. And we'll ask you some more questions on just a little bit on that. Relevant licenses. Kirk, David, you don't have any.
No.
It says none. Why is that?
Because I joined NAFA and I had to get rid of all of my security licenses. I had all the top licenses.
So how can you be in the business of financial planning and not have a license?
Well, I work under registered investment advisor. I'm a registered investment advisor with the SEC in the state of California. And I have to, you can get this, I've got a couple of copies.
So why don't we start one here and start one over here?
It's required registration, which is not a big deal. Registration is a cost time, and you have to put all your history down, and then you have to get approved to move on. And then that in itself is not a big deal. And just about anybody can go through those steps if you don't have arrest records and things like that, and frauds and things like that. But you can get through that with time and become a registered investment advisor. Not too hard. But then you've got to annually update this. And everything you've said follows you all the way along. It's on the web. Everything is there. If you lied or misstated anything, you're gone. I mean, you made a federal offense, so you don't do that.
Every registered investment advisor has to provide a client with their ADV form. And that's the ADV form that's going around, that's David's. But it's required to be distributed. You can go online and get his ADV form of any registered investment advisor. Okay? So it's kind of full disclosure again. It not only states what his educational background is, it also states on the ADV how he operates his business, whether or not he negotiates his fees, what kind of products is he involved in, how literally he runs his business is exactly on that ADV form. It's kind of like the prospectus in an investment. Yes?
Who's overseeing this?
The FINRA and the SEC.
And the state of
California.